Hello, this is Miss Andrea. If you don't know who I am a homeschool educational consultant. I homeschooled my own children from 2003 to 2013. At that point, my youngest child was 16. She entered college in the fall at 17. And since then, I've been helping homeschool families prepare for the school year and also prepare the college portfolios and apply to colleges. I also help non-homeschool people apply to colleges. So that's me, and that's what I do. Last week, I spoke about starting a homeschool co-op, and that's when a group of families get together and run a homeschool program corporately. This week, I want to talk about starting a homeschool program where you are at the head and you are the leader of the program and you're providing a service to homeschool families. That looks a little bit different than a homeschool co-op, but there are also a lot of similarities. Some of the similarities would include getting your vision and mission statements together. It would include the rules and regulations you set for students and families. And you would also need to decide on your purpose of your program. So those are things that would be the same as if you were starting a homeschool co-op. If you haven't already seen the video on starting a homeschool co-op, I highly suggest you visit it because these things are somewhat intertwined. So there are things that you need to do differently for a homeschool program versus a homeschool co-op. I run a homeschool program. This means myself and my partner decided to start a homeschool program, and we run it together. So you can have a partner or you can run it solo. And we help homeschoolers. We provide services to homeschoolers. We provide classes. We provide activities and things of that sort. It is run like a business. And that's the thing that you need to remember. So since it is run like a business, you have to register your business. That's going to mean registering on a state level, county level, and possibly a city level. We had to register on all three because our locality requires that. We also had to get and consult a lawyer to make sure that all of our paperwork was properly filled out and to give us advice based on people who'd started programs like ours in the past so that we didn't run into any legal implications. You have to decide if you're going to be for-profit or not-for-profit. And those are both things you should consider. We decided to run a not-for-profit. We are not in this business to get rich. We are in this business to serve the community. We collect a modest paycheck. We're going into our third year, so it's very modest, and hopefully that will grow over time. Because we are not-for-profit, we specifically chose a lawyer who specialized in not-for-profit organizations. And he was able to inform us of specific paperwork we had to get done and things that we had to consider when setting up our board. I spoke about a board in the co-op video, but a board for a not-for-profit is a little bit different. There are so many things to consider there. So, like I said, you want to make sure you are registered and you consult with a lawyer and get your program set up, whether it's a for-profit or a not-for-profit, a sole proprietor, or what have you. Those decisions you have to make, and then you need to make sure that you've done the right paperwork to go along with that. So when I spoke about starting the homeschool co-op, I suggested that you could start a very small homeschool co-op, actually in a home, the home of one of the members, or you should ask a church for space. I would not recommend starting a for-profit or not-for-profit homeschool program in a home. But you can still speak to a church. Churches tend to be happy to support such a program. If it's for profit, you need to offer them a fair amount of money in exchange for their space. I have a not-for-profit, and the space that I am currently using has asked for a tithe, which is 10% of what we bring in. As a homeschool program, you may also want to consider renting a location. That is something I am working towards as we grow. But keeping in mind what our needs will be over the next 5 to 7 years, I want to rent something that will have space for all the services that we want to provide, even if we don't provide them just yet, and also has the space for 50 to 100 children, which is what we would like to serve. So we're in a co-op. You would have teacher volunteers from the group of co-op members. In a homeschool program, you're going to want to hire teachers. Some of those teachers may very well be parents of your students. And in that case, what you would do is offer a tuition exchange for those parents. Some parents will teach in your program in order to not have to pay tuition. And it helps if they're especially knowledgeable in the subject, right? So that's a great way to go about it. But the majority of your homeschool families won't be teachers, and they've joined you because they have no intention to be teachers. They want you to help them provide classes for their children. They don't want to teach. And so you need to choose and hire teachers, and you need to set tuition rates that will cover the time your teachers are teaching and the admin fees that your program will take on. Right now, my partner and I are the main teachers of our program. My daughter sometimes helps instruct. Last year, I had a parent co-teach a course with my daughter, and I've had some guest instructors to come in to help teach some small specific things. As we grow, I'm going to need to hire teachers to cover all the courses I plan to offer, but right now, I just offer a history course, a supplemental course. This year, it's personal finance, and an array of clubs in which the parents help with the clubs, and I don't charge for the clubs. I charge for the time that I spend and my partner spends and any teachers that I have spend. So something you have to consider when you are thinking about starting a homeschool program is, are you going to be an accredited program or are you not going to be an accredited program? Homeschool programs do not need to be accredited, but there's going to be a contingent of homeschoolers who want to use your program who are seeking for accreditation. That accreditation means that your program has been certified to be accepted by your state or regional accreditation agency to be equal, equivalent, or better than what is being offered in schools. That helps a lot when it comes to applying to college because you are now a private school and you are no longer a homeschool. And so your student doesn't have to do extra paperwork. You don't have to jump through the extra hoops that a homeschooler typically has to jump through to get into college. They're not as scary as they sound, but people really worry about them and people really want accreditation. At this time, I am not accredited. I kind of have my eye on it because I help students who go to public school. My partner doesn't like it at all. So this is something we'll be talking about over the years to decide if we can be fully accredited, partly accredited, or if we just decide after looking at everything that we just don't want to be accredited at all. My next video will be about state standards and accreditation. So you're going to want to make sure that you come back and check that out. Finally, but not least important, you're going to need to market your homeschool program. This is where a homeschool program severely differs from a co-op. With a co-op, you kind of already have your clientele built in. With a homeschool program, you have to market to families whose needs fit what you have to offer. And you have a responsibility to fulfill those needs in order to keep those families. So it's a little bit more work, but the positive aspect of having a homeschool program is you are in charge. There's no doubt over who's in charge. It gets rid of some of the homeschool co-op drama that happens. And I promised I would make a video on homeschool co-op drama. I got a little bit of drama in my own program this past year, but it just doesn't get as bad as the homeschool co-op drama because the chain of command is so firmly set, and it's my program. I'm in charge of it. I set the rules, I set the regulations. People can come to my program, test it out. If they love it, they stay. If they don't like it, no harm, no foul. And as my program grows, then I can grow and get more locations. And I don't talk about this too much, but my plan really is to change the way that we look at education in general. And so my goal business-wise is to grow this homeschool program and start another and start another and start another so that we can influence homeschoolers all over the country and maybe all over the world. So that's all I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informational. If you like what I'm saying, please subscribe and share. So that's all for today. Until next time.